It is an ongoing dilemma and debate. How best do we educate students during a pandemic, from pre-K all the way to college? College campuses have proven to present challenges. We've seen images of large parties on campuses, and students and parents are split. One side supporting an all-virtual model or even sending kids back home. The other side feels strongly about staying on campus, getting the experience they paid for. So who's at fault when cases of COVID-19 rise on campus? Jennifer Bellamy joins us now. And Jennifer, some say shifting the focus or the blame towards students is not the way to go.
Yeah, Cheryl, this certainly is a conversation that is ongoing. Some experts say colleges and universities should be looking at what they call harm reduction approaches that focus on making gatherings safe rather than banning them altogether.
When it comes to college campuses and COVID-19, the blame game is in full gear. But are the rising number of cases the fault of school leadership or irresponsible college students?
There is a big blame on college students, which I think rightfully so in some ways. But I do see a lot of non-college students in the community not taking COVID seriously as well.
Students across the country have been scolded, suspended, and called selfish by college leaders. And while students bear personal responsibility for their actions and for following school and public health guidelines, experts say blaming them for the situation is problematic. UGA elementary education student Emily Turner wishes there were safer options for students to gather, along with mental health considerations, understandable data, and consequences for some students' actions.
I know a lot of people are kind of like on the wave of like closing campus, and I don't think that that's the option that we need to go to, because kids are still going to want social interaction, so that's just going to drive them more to going to the bars.
Some health experts say students were set up to fail with unrealistic expectations for their behavior. Julia Marcus, a Harvard Med School infectious disease epidemiologist, told NBC News isolation isn't practical on college campuses, and the age group is primed to take risk, especially for students who have been isolated and away from friends for months. She says blaming students make them less likely to openly work with contact tracers, perhaps with fear of negative consequences on campus. Instead, experts say schools should explore harm reduction approaches, not outright bans, shifting the focus to making gatherings which will occur more safe. That means ideas like porch parties with social distancing and masks, or outdoor beer pong. Some have praised ideas like chairs on the library lawn at the University of Notre Dame with fire pits and games outside.
Marcus warns that so-called abstinence-only approaches to COVID-19, where things are flatly not allowed, will result in unintended results. She says there's a real need for compassion and creativity.